Charles Barkley and Steve Nash, our wasn't unbelievable. Like, oh, they can't be talked about or discussed with these guys is because this guy won 1 ring or won 2 rings.
Seasons. How many 40-point games did Michael Jordan have? 173.
Today's NBA Showdown dives into a moment that seems both incredible and controversial. LeBron James pouring in 40 points in his 22nd season. Yet Stephen A. Smith reminds us that milestones like this, while historic, don't automatically vault him past Michael Jordan. In each section, we'll unpack Stephen A.'s arguments, analyze what they really mean, and discuss why some fans even question LeBron being in the top 3 all-time. Stick around through every section because the finale will challenge your GOAT assumptions. Don't forget to hit subscribe and drop your take in the comments. Do these stats matter as much as narrative? Stephen A. Higgins begins with a stat bomb. Jordan was the first 40-year-old to hit 40, and LeBron just notched his 78th 40-point game. This isn't a knock on LeBron's longevity, far from it. Scoring 40 points in year 22 of an NBA career is mind-bending brilliance. It defies athletic prime cycles. Yet Stephen uses the comparison to highlight endurance versus supremacy. Jordan's 40-year-old explosion was a cherry on top of an already dominant career. LeBron's consistent high-level performance, especially when we account for wear and tear, speaks volumes about his conditioning, versatility, and resilience. But longevity doesn't equal peak dominance. Jordan controlled eras, turned moments into monuments, and rarely needed longevity to solidify his place. LeBron's repeated 40-point nights underlines his adaptability, but these are cumulative stats. They show what he's built over time, not whether he transcended. Stephen A. wants viewers to see beyond the nightly spectacle. LeBron is an all-time great, yes, but the legacy comparison involves context, not just volume. And context favors supremacy, legacy, impact, and those clutch moments that turn careers into legends.
Michael Jordan was the first 40-year-old to drop 40. That's number 1. LeBron James is in his 22nd season. That was the 78th time in his career he has scored over 40.
Expanding on numbers, Stephen A. reveals Jordan scored 173 40-point games in just 15 seasons. Despite the seasons being shorter, MJ still piled up these explosive performances in a tighter time frame. LeBron's 78-40 win performances come over a much longer career, 22 seasons so far. That reveals a key takeaway. LeBron has durability. Jordan had intensity. It's one thing to accumulate stats by being on the court a long time. It's another to pack elite-level production into a shorter span. Jordan's existence enforced fear and dominance in bursts, while LeBron's career is endurance-driven, binding together consistent excellence. Each 40-point night for Jordan was a statement at his peak. They were thunderclaps, not long, drawn-out booms. Most fans remember those flashpoints. Flu game, epic finals, intimidating control. LeBron has had his own feats, yet many feel his peak moments don't resonate with the same seismic impact. Stephen A. reminds us that Jordan's career was shorter but more explosive, with sustained high-level dominance. An artistic peak rather than a marathon of strength that matters profoundly when you're talking about the greatest
seasons. How many 40-point games did Michael Jordan have? 173.
Stephen A. dives deeper with context. Jordan arrived and dominated immediately. He didn't need to go chasing championships or switch teams to win one. LeBron, by contrast, famously had to go to South Beach to chase ring opportunities. Stephen's message: greatness rooted in self-made mastery versus constructed advantages. Jordan built one dynasty in Chicago, forging legacy through loyalty and dominance. Never had to glut hop, he was the franchise and the fulcrum. LeBron's choices, Miami, back to Cleveland, then Lakers, were shrewd and strategic, but they suggest a different type of legacy. One rooted in adaptation, not creation. That matters in the GOAT conversation. Jordan didn't need teammate sacrifice for cohesiveness. His greatness shaped teams. This isn't criticism of LeBron's decisions, it's a philosophical debate. Is greatness about building or navigating? Stephen answers firmly, top-tier greatness exploits both, but peak ranking requires the pure, unaltered, creator-type dominance Jordan exemplified. And until you can argue that LeBron established dynasties on his terms, you're comparing two different kinds of greatness, and the scales remain tipped toward MJ.
Now, let me tell you something right now. Anything everything that Michael Jordan wanted to do. He didn't spend the first 8 years shivering. He didn't have to go to South Beach to learn how to win.
Shannon Sharpe challenges Steven with a truth bomb. Whenever LeBron achieves something monumental, Steven counters with, if Jordan wanted to do that, he would have. Why didn't he? Shannon's retort exposes a debate flaw. Steven keeps shifting the terms. He sets LeBron's feats as big, then flips them by asking why Jordan didn't do it first. Shannon correctly calls that out. It's not fair to hold one player to the other's unachieved hypothetical. But Steven's point is pattern-based. He isn't saying Jordan was better at everything. He's saying Jordan didn't need 7 more seasons or external validation. He defined his era. Shannon's frustration reveals why LeBron's sustained greatness matters to fans. It proves his resilience in the modern era. But Steven doubles down that greatness isn't just about longevity, it's about making your mark organically, with authority, and without chasing it. So the question isn't who scored more, but who controlled more moments when they mattered most. And according to Shannon's counter, that deserves respect, even if Steven remains unconvinced that volume equals legacy.
Every time LeBron does something, if Jordan wanted to, he would have done it.
I didn't say
if
that.
he's what you said he was, why didn't he do it?
Stephen A. doubles down by highlighting what LeBron's prolonged career represents, or perhaps fails to represent. He points out that after spending 7 more years in the league chasing Jordan's statistical legacy, LeBron still hasn't overtaken him in key benchmarks. This isn't just about counting seasons, it's a critique of what those extra years signify. LeBron's journey has been heroic, yes. Career longevity at an elite level is rare and commendable, but Steven suggests it also shows a ceiling. Despite unprecedented conditioning and versatility, LeBron's continued presence in the discussion doesn't necessarily elevate him above Jordan. It underscores Jordan's unmatched efficiency. A shorter but more dominant arc, akin to a bullet train rather than a transcontinental journey. The narrative isn't that longevity is meaningless, it's that the peak matters more. Jordan's peak is still considered the pinnacle 9 times out of 10, and after LeBron's additional seasons, he's still measuring up, not surpassing. Stephen emphasizes this nuance because greatness isn't just defined by duration, it's defined by transcendent presence. The fact that even after 2 decades, LeBron remains in the chase rather than run away suggests to Steven that Jordan's legacy is more deeply rooted in the history of the game. That's why the GOAT debate hinges on moments, not minutes. In a direct response, Steven reminds his audience that LeBron has spent more time in the league than he spent in college, yet still hasn't caught up to Jordan on the signature indicators of championships, scoring titles, finals MVPs. The critique here is layered and personal. College is a defined time frame, a proving ground where talent meets guidance. LeBron, by comparison, skipped that route entirely and entered the league directly, banking on his natural gifts and maturity. His sustained great play in the NBA backs that up. Meanwhile, Jordan used college time to develop fundamentals. Ironically, those fundamentals helped define his dominance. Stephen A's point is that despite entering the league earlier, LeBron's prolonged career hasn't translated into uncontested supremacy. It's not a detraction from LeBron's immense achievements, it's a dissection. Greatness is a fruit that ripens at a peak. It doesn't just sit on the branch for decades. Jordan's tree bore heavy, fast, and ripe fruit. LeBron's tree continues to bear fruit, season after season, but the bite has never surpassed the legend of Jordan's apex. Steven's telling reminder: longevity doesn't grant you the crown. It simply keeps you in the room where the real battles happen.
All I know is your man got 7 more years in the league and still chasing Jordan.
He ain't chasing
7 more years. He don't even have more
He
rings
like
than
the
Jordan.
LB boots, he's stepping on their neck.
In his final quote, Stephen A. addresses the reaction of fans who find it insulting that LeBron ranks second. He frames it as a maturity issue. If someone can't accept LeBron being second greatest, they need perspective. The core message is that rankings don't diminish LeBron's greatness, they simply acknowledge context. The resentment stems from misplaced expectations. LeBron's fans want him to be uncontested at the top, but Jordan's 6 championships and perfect finals record maintain that space. Steven suggests holding LeBron's legacy in 2 hands: admiration for a modern legend and acceptance that history still favors Michael Jordan. The emotional flair from fans often signals insecurity about their chosen hero, but objective evaluation requires humility. It's like tutoring. You can love the student without giving them the grade they demand. Steven says the numbers, the history, the narrative, they're not LeBron's fault, they're reality. And reality is that LeBron is phenomenal, perhaps the second greatest, but Jordan remains the GOAT. If that feels like an insult, it's a reaction to the truth, not a truth to be insulted by.
Charles Barkley and Steve Nash, our wasn't unbelievable. Like, oh, they can't be talked about or discussed with these guys is because this guy won 1 ring or won 2 rings.
Today's breakdown shows why LeBron's 40-point brilliance at age 22 is astonishing, but still doesn't eclipse Jordan's supremacy. Longevity is impressive. Longevity versus legacy. That's the key. Jordan's tree bore legendary results in fewer years. LeBron's legacy is still being written, but if the GOAT is defined by peak impact and era dominance, Jordan holds the edge. Longevity keeps LeBron in the GOAT conversation, but doesn't crown him king. What do you think? Does volume or peak matter more? Drop your thoughts in the comments section, subscribe, and be sure to hit that bell so you never miss a showdown.